Hey everyone, welcome back to some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Every Single Time. Years ago I worked at our local museum. I was usually in charge of the cafeteria, but every once in a while I took over a shift from the ticket sale and entrance people. We had this thing that on Saturdays people living in our city got free entrance. They had to prove they lived in the city, of course. One of those days I was working the ticket register. I was being shadowed by one of the managers. Not officially, but she was just doing something in the same space, so she kept an eye on me as well. This couple comes in and I know them because they come to the bar every week. I know where they live. I know for a fact they are inhabitants of our city, so I print them free tickets and wave them through without much hassle. The manager said, "You didn't check their IDs." "Yeah, because I know them. I see them every week and they live here for sure." "You still have to check their IDs. Even if I have checked them in last week and checked their IDs then. Yes, every single time someone wants free tickets, you check." Side story. There's this dude who is an artist, and while his work is lovely, he has this huge gigantic ego about it. Your opinion on art doesn't matter because you don't have exhibitions going. That kind of person. He knows everything better that is even remotely related to art, materials, crafting, and that knowledge extends into other areas, like architecture, building, politics, that sort of thing. I can stand the dude for his ego alone. Add to that I know people who commissioned him, and he was immensely rude and entitled to them. Just not someone I would willingly recommend working with to anyone. He also has this thing about people not recognizing him, because he's supposedly very famous and ego. So this dude had an exhibition in part of our museum. He had this habit of coming in and out of the museum multiple times every Saturday because he liked to admire his own work or whatever. I have no idea why they didn't just give the exhibiting artist a temporary pass badge or whatever, but he had to come through the register for a free ticket every time. Multiple times every Saturday. So the guy comes to the counter and says, "Give me a ticket to go inside." "Can I see your ID please?" "What?" "Your ID please, so I can verify you're eligible for a free ticket." "Don't you know who I am?" "I'm sorry, but I'll have to see your ID. I don't have it on me." "I'm very sorry, but I can let you inside without ID." "Can I speak to your manager?" "She's currently on lunch break, but she reminded me of always having to check for ID just a few moments before she left, so I'm sure she would say the same thing." "But I'm an artist, I exhibit in the museum." "That may very well be true, but I will still need your ID to verify." He huffed, he puffed, he stomped off, and he returned with his ID later. The next story is called Just Doing My Job. This happened 5 years ago. At the time I was employed in a mid-sized supermarket that was owned and operated by a retail giant. I was a baker. It was my responsibility to produce the fresh loaves of bread and breadwurst, which would only be on sale for that day until closing time. Any surplus goods would be counted, recorded and disposed of. Having been employed by them for around 10 years, I got to know what sold well and what didn't. Our range included some artisanal, ethnic and specialty breads that weren't overly popular with customers. Day after day I'd be ordered by the production sheet put together by the department's manager, definitely a Karen, to produce an inordinate number of these products which would inevitably end up in the bin. I took it upon myself to mention to Karen that this was an issue that would reflect poorly on the department. Although the company made most of its money back with what is wasted, it meant that we were investing our time making loaves that weren't selling, rather than dedicating those hours to more profitable product lines. Karen, of course, was having none of it. "I'm the department manager. I think I know what's popular and what isn't. Just do your job," she said with obvious scorn. Fast forward a couple of weeks later and our store is due to an audit. Before I go further, there are 2 things to note. At the time, there was a lot of material on mainstream TV and online exposing supermarket waste. Every production sheet is stored in the bakery as a record of production levels and is kept for a minimum duration. On it, the baker of the day annotates how many of each product he or she makes in an effort to prove that the sheet was followed. So our store was due to an audit, and the bakery was to be that audit's focus. A severe-looking group of people comes into the bakery, scouring it for problems and non-compliance. They asked to see both the sales records and the production sheets to confirm the variance between production and sales. Of course, the numbers on several production lines aren't ideal, and Karen is questioned about the money being lost in unpopular and therefore waste food. Karen doesn't explain her position well, so they gather the team and question us, asking for complete honesty. They get to me and asked, as the person producing the majority of the sellable items, whether I had noticed that there were products not selling well. I sweetly replied, yes, but I was just doing my job. Karen ends up getting demoted from the bakery manager and left soon after. I was asked if I fancied the gig, but I declined. I wanted out of retail. The third story is called I Warned Her. A few years back, I handled strictly DirecTV calls. We did everything. Billing, customer service, tech support, you name it. With DirecTV, sometimes it's not fully clear when your service gets shut off for non-payment. Typically, the TV would just display a standard error message saying you don't subscribe to that channel. So pretty often we would have customers that would just call in without realizing their service is suspended, and it was usually pretty easy to just tell them they owed money and need to make a payment, and it comes on pretty much immediately. Some don't listen. It's been a few years, but one of my favorite stories from the old DirecTV times was one such situation. Hey, my TV isn't working, it's just giving me an error code. Alright, well, I can help you with that. Yes ma'am, so according to your account, you are past due by X amount. If you'd like to make a payment, we can get the TV working in seconds. Oh, no, you don't. Only 2 of my TVs aren't working. The other 2 are working just fine. So you need to refresh the TVs and make them work. Oh boy. That is a glitch in the system. Because of the different boxes, they get the command to turn off later than the other ones sometimes. If I refresh the boxes, these TVs will stop working also. If you are not able to make the payment right now, I would recommend keeping it as is, so you can enjoy these TVs that have not gotten the signal yet. No, you listen to me. You better turn these boxes back on right now, so that all of them are working. I'm not paying a single penny. Well, I warned her, didn't I? I clicked the button to refresh the boxes, and predictably, the working receivers now changed to the message saying she doesn't subscribe to the channel. Hey, why did my other TVs just turn off? Turn them back on right now. Absolutely. So the minimum payment is the past due amount of X dollars. Would you like to pay that via credit card or check by phone? She never did make a payment. The last story is called I'm Getting Charged Extra. I rented a car for 5 weeks while my car was being repaired from a car accident. The rental company had a couple of great policies. No cleaning fee no matter how gross the car was, and unlimited miles. Ideal for me, I live in the country and going anywhere is a drive. When my car was finally scheduled to be finished on Monday evening, I called the rental car company on Sunday, asked about return details. They said return time would be 5:30 PM Monday, but I could just leave it at the shop and leave the keys in the shop's drop box. I said sure, and the next night I went, got my car, left keys in the box. Got in my car and check engine light is on. The staff says to come back tomorrow and we will fix it. I go home thinking that I will be sitting at the shop all Tuesday because no other ride. Tuesday morning I wake up at 7 AM to the rental car company very angrily calling and saying that they can't get into the Dropbox and the shop doesn't open until 9. I tell them I just did what they said to do. They told me that they would be charging me an extra day. At that I'm furious. I leave my house later and arrive at the shop at 8:50. Rental car guys aren't there. I sit around and the shop opens. I grab the rental keys and give them my car. Right on time, the rental car guys appear. They demand the keys and I ask if I'm still getting charged for an extra day. One guy is inspecting the car, while the other tells me yes, I'm getting charged an extra day. The guy inspecting it comes over and says that the car looks good. It should be ready to rent out immediately. I had cleaned it the day before because I didn't want to be a jerk. Well, I refused to give him the keys. Since I'm getting charged an extra day, that means it's my car until 5:30 today, right? At that he gets nervous, says they need the car back. I will give you the keys now if you don't charge me an extra day, but if I'm charged an extra day, I'm using it. He refuses to bend, so I leave. At this point I'm petty and angry, so I go straight home. I own a farm and it has been raining like mad lately. I get to work. By the time 10 AM rolls around, the car is covered in mud. Like this black car looks painted brown. I didn't trash the inside because I'm not that petty. I hop in the car and drive to the rental place. I'm pretty covered in mud at this point. I had put trash bags on the front seat to limit it. I walk into the rental place looking like I fell into a mud pit. The guy who refused to cancel the charge looks horrified. I tell them, this car is great for mudding. I'm gonna go mudding for the rest of the day, just swinging by to ask where to put the keys at 5:30. I'm all smiles and dripping sweetness. I watch the life leave him. His shoulders slump and he says if I return the car now, they will cancel the charge because they need to rent out the car. I give them the keys and take an Uber to the shop where my car is ready. No cleaning fee and no extra day charge. Ha! Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. And if you don't, please let me know why. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.